What happens when two of the loudest, most controversial voices in American media sit down for what was supposed to be a friendly chat, only for it to explode into chaos? What begins as a routine interview quickly spirals into a powder keg of accusations, interruptions, and jaw-dropping moments that no one saw coming. You're about to witness one of the most explosive showdowns ever caught on camera, where civility evaporates within minutes. And what starts as a question about policy turns into a full-blown verbal brawl that has everyone talking. Before we dive into the madness, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tell me what you think in the comments below. Because trust me, you're going to have opinions about this one. The studio lights were blazing hot. The cameras were rolling, and Alex Jones sat across from Donald Trump in his Austin studio. From the moment Trump walked in, the air felt electric, his trademark confidence filling the room as he took his seat. Jones, never one to hold back, had promised his audience the interview of the year. And it didn't take long to see why. "Mr. President, welcome back to the show," Jones began, his tone already carrying that signature edge. "We've got a lot to cover today, and the people want real answers. None of that scripted stuff we see everywhere else." Trump leaned forward, straightening his tie. "Alex, you know me. I don't do scripted. Never have, never will. That's why I'm here. That's why your audience loves me. We tell it like it is." Jones nodded, but there was something in his eyes. A challenge. "Good, because I've been hearing things, Mr. President, things that don't quite add up. And I think it's time we talk about them." For a split second, Trump's smile faltered. "What things, Alex?" "You know I'm an open book." "The border," Jones said bluntly. "You made big promises, the wall, deportations, the crackdown. But my sources say the numbers don't line up with what you've been telling the American people." Trump's jaw tightened. "Your sources?" "With all due respect, I know more about what's happening at the border than anyone. I built more wall than any president in history. The numbers speak for themselves." Jones reached for a stack of papers. "Then let's talk numbers. These are official reports, construction data, miles completed, funding details. And they're not what you've been saying at your rallies." The tension spiked. Trump leaned back, eyes narrowing. "So you're going to fact-check me on my own accomplishments? On my own interview? That's what this is now?" "This isn't fact-checking," Jones shot back, his voice rising. "This is accountability. You came here and made promises. My job is to ask why things don't add up. That's called journalism, Mr. President, real journalism." Trump's hand slammed down on the armrest. "Journalism? You want to talk about journalism? Real journalism is about finding the truth, not cherry-picking numbers to push a narrative. I delivered on the border. Ask the agents. Ask the people living there, they'll tell you." "I have," Jones countered. "And they're saying things are worse than ever. The cartels, the drugs, the trafficking, it hasn't stopped. So where's the victory you keep talking about?" The room went dead silent. Both men locked eyes, neither willing to back down. Trump's face flushed red, that familiar storm brewing. "You know what, Alex?" he said, voice low but burning. "I came here because I thought we were on the same team, fighting the same enemies, the deep state, the corrupt media, the bureaucrats trying to stop us. But now you sound just like them." "Don't you dare!" Jones snapped, his tone sharp as a knife. "Don't lump me in with the mainstream media. I've been exposing corruption since before you were in politics. Don't you sit there and act like I'm part of the problem for asking tough questions." Trump stood abruptly, pointing across the table. "Tough questions? This is an ambush. You brought me here under false pretenses just to grandstand in front of your audience and make yourself look like a hero. Well, guess what, Alex? I see right through it." Jones rose to his feet, too, matching Trump's fury. "Sit down, Mr. President. We're not done. You agreed to this interview. You said you'd answer hard questions. If you can't handle the heat, maybe you shouldn't be in the kitchen. Handle the heat." Trump roared. "I've handled more heat than you could ever imagine. You think this is pressure? I've had entire governments and intelligence agencies trying to take me down. You think your little interrogation here scares me?" The studio crew stood frozen, eyes wide, watching two titans of controversy face off in real time. The cameras kept rolling, but what was happening had long since stopped feeling like an interview. It was a battle, a showdown, and neither man was backing down. Jones wasn't backing down. His face was flushed, his trademark intensity burning at full power. "Then answer the questions," he demanded. "Stop dodging, stop attacking me, and answer what I'm actually asking you." "I don't have to answer anything to you," Trump shot back. "You're not Congress. You're not a judge. You're a radio host who's gotten too big for his britches. You invited me here for a conversation, and now you're treating it like a hostile deposition." "Because you keep dodging," Jones shouted. "Every time I ask something specific, you pivot. You attack me instead of addressing the issue. That's what politicians do, Mr. President, and you're supposed to be different. That's why people believed in you." Trump's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Believed in me? Past tense? Is that what this is now? After everything we did together, after I came on your show, gave you access nobody else got, you're turning on me?" "I'm not turning on anyone," Jones replied, his tone sharp but steadier now. "I'm holding you accountable. There's a difference. My audience deserves the truth. They deserve to know if the man they supported, voted for, and defended through everything is still delivering on what he promised." "I delivered more than any president in modern history," Trump snapped, his voice rising. The economy was booming, unemployment at record lows, taxes cut, regulations slashed, judges confirmed, and yes, the border was more secure than it's been in decades. But you don't want to talk about that, do you? You'd rather nitpick and twist things to fit your little narrative. Jones slammed a stack of papers down on the desk. "These aren't nitpicks, Mr. President. These are failures. The deficit exploded under your watch. The swamp didn't drain, it deepened. You filled your administration with the same insiders you campaigned against." Trump's hand came down hard on the desk. "That's a lie. Name one person I hired who was part of the swamp." "One. How about your Treasury Secretary?" Jones fired back instantly. "A former Goldman Sachs executive. Or your Commerce Secretary, a billionaire investor tied to every corporation you claimed to be fighting. Or the lobbyists you swore you'd never hire. Your administration was crawling with them. Those people had experience," Trump roared. "You can't run a government with amateurs. That's not the swamp, that's competence. But you wouldn't understand that, because you've never managed anything bigger than a radio show." The insult landed like a grenade. Jones's expression darkened from anger to pure fury. "You really want to go there?" he said, voice low and trembling with rage. "You want to make this personal?" "Because I can make it personal, Mr. President. I have information. I have sources. I have documents. And if you keep deflecting, if you keep attacking instead of being honest with the people who put you in power, I'll release all of it." Trump's face went crimson. "Are you threatening me? On your own show? Do you understand how insane that sounds? Do you have any idea what you're doing right now?" "I'm doing my job," Jones said coldly. "Something you seem to have forgotten how to do." The words hit like a slap. For a moment, Trump said nothing, just stood there, chest heaving, his anger barely contained. The studio was silent. Everyone present knew they were witnessing something unprecedented. Finally, Trump spoke, quietly, but with steel in his voice. "You just made a huge mistake, Alex. You have no idea what you've done." Jones didn't blink. The two men stood locked in a silent standoff, neither willing to back down. For a split second, it looked like Trump might walk out, his hands gripping his jacket, jaw set tight. But something in Jones's defiant stare stopped him cold. "You think you can order me around?" Trump said finally, voice low and dangerous. "I think," Jones replied, unwavering, "you owe your supporters an explanation." The silence that followed was deafening. Jones didn't flinch. His voice cut through the tension like a blade. "And if you walk out right now, on live television, it'll be the most cowardly thing you could possibly do. It'll prove everything I'm saying, that you can't handle real questions, that you run the second things get tough." Trump's eyes flashed with fury, but slowly, deliberately, he sank back into his chair. "Fine," he said, voice tight. "I'll stay, but not because you told me to. I'm staying because I want your audience to hear the truth. I want them to see how you twist everything, how you've become exactly what you claim to hate." Jones leaned back slightly, a flicker of satisfaction crossing his face. "Then let's keep going," he said. "Let's talk about your personnel decisions. You fired more people than any president in history. Chiefs of staff, cabinet secretaries, advisors. Your administration was a revolving door. Why? Because I demand excellence, Trump snapped. Because I don't tolerate mediocrity. If someone isn't performing, if someone leaks, if someone betrays the mission, they're gone. That's not chaos, that's leadership. Or, Jones countered, it's instability, poor judgment. You said you hire the best people, but if you keep firing them, were they really the best? Or were you just wrong about them from the start? Trump's jaw tightened. Some people change. Some get corrupted by Washington. They crave attention. They get seduced by the swamp and the media. I had to cut them loose to protect my agenda. But you hired them, Jones pressed. You vouched for them. You stood in front of cameras and called them the best. Then a few months later, they're traitors. That's not their failure, Mr. President. That's yours. The accusation hit hard. Trump's face twisted in anger. You have no idea what it's like to survive in Washington, he snapped. You don't know the pressure, the betrayal, the sabotage that happens every day. People smile to your face and stab you in the back. I had to be ruthless to survive. Survive? Jones repeated, eyebrows raised. You were the president of the United States, the most powerful man on earth, and you're talking like a victim. You had all the power. If things went wrong, that's on you. Nobody else, Trump pointed across the table, voice booming. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You sit there second-guessing every decision like you know what it's like in the Oval Office. You weren't in the room. You didn't deal with the crises, the lies, the backstabbing. You didn't live it. Then explain it, Jones shot back. Explain why you picked an attorney general you later called weak and disloyal. Explain why you surrounded yourself with people you ended up attacking. Because right now, it just looks like bad judgment. Trump pushed back from the table and began pacing. You want explanations? Fine. I chose him because I thought he was loyal. I thought he understood what we were up against. But the moment the Russia investigation started, he recused himself. He abandoned me, left me exposed to a witch hunt that went on for years. He followed the law, Jones interjected. He had to recuse himself. That's not betrayal, that's ethics. Ethics? Trump barked, whirling around. It was a setup, a trap. And he fell for it. A loyal attorney general would have fought back, would have defended the presidency instead of caving to the deep state. Jones shook his head. So what you wanted was someone loyal to you, not to the Constitution. You wanted a personal attorney, not an attorney general. Do you even hear yourself right now? I wanted someone who understood I was being attacked unfairly, Trump shouted. Someone who would stand up for justice, not fold to political pressure. There's nothing wrong with expecting fairness. That's not fairness, Jones shot back, his voice rising. That's control. That's authoritarian. You're describing the same thing you accuse your enemies of doing. The word authoritarian landed like a hammer. Trump's face darkened to purple. Don't you dare call me that, he thundered. Don't you dare compare me to dictators. I fought for freedom, for the Constitution, for the American people. Everything I did was about liberty. Then why, Jones pressed, did you call the press the enemy of the people? Why did you attack journalists, threaten their access, talk about changing libel laws to silence them? That's not liberty, Mr. President. That's authoritarian behavior. Trump slammed his hand on the chair. They weren't reporting the truth. They were lying, every day, every headline. Twisting words, creating scandals, fabricating stories. I had every right to call them out. Calling them out is one thing, Jones said firmly. Calling them enemies of the state, threatening their livelihoods, that's another. That's not defending yourself. That's attacking the First Amendment. Trump let out a bitter laugh. The First Amendment? He sneered. You mean the one they hide behind while destroying this country? The studio fell silent again. Two men, both known for their fire, now locked in open war, each accusing the other of becoming the very thing they claimed to stand against. You're going to lecture me about the First Amendment? Trump shot back, incredulous. You, Alex Jones, the guy who's been banned, censored, and silenced by every major tech company on the planet? You, who's been fighting the same battles I have, and now you're defending the very media that wants to destroy us both? I'm not defending them, Jones said firmly. I'm defending the principle. Yeah, I've been censored. I've been attacked. But that's exactly why I don't want government power used to silence anyone, not even the people who hate me. Because once you normalize that, once you let government decide which voices are acceptable, that power eventually turns on everyone, including us. Trump stood there for a moment, breathing heavily. You're twisting everything. You're making me sound like some kind of tyrant when all I ever did was fight back against people who were trying to destroy me, destroy my family, destroy everything I built. I'm not twisting anything, Jones said quietly. I'm holding up a mirror. These are your words, your actions, and I'm asking you to take responsibility for them. That's not an attack, Mr. President. That's accountability. The two men locked eyes, tension crackling between them like static. Trump finally moved back to his chair, lowering himself slowly, posture stiff and jaw tight. His voice dropped, quieter now, but edged with bitterness. You used to be different, Alex, he said. You used to understand what we were fighting for. You got it. What happened to you? Jones leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Nothing happened to me. I'm still the same man I've always been. Maybe it's you who changed. Maybe power changed you. Maybe being president made you forget why you ran in the first place. I never forgot, Trump shot back defensively. Every single day I remembered the people who voted for me. The forgotten men and women, the workers left behind, the towns gutted by bad trade deals and endless wars. I fought for them every damn day. Did you? Jones challenged. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you remembered them when it was time to campaign. But once you got into office, you surrounded yourself with billionaires, Wall Street execs, and corporate insiders. The same people you said were the problem. Trump's hand clenched around the armrest. I needed people who understood business, who could rebuild the economy. I needed experts. But my policies, everything I did, was for the working class. Tax cuts, deregulation, trade deals, all of it was to bring jobs back, raise wages, make America strong again. Jones leaned in, unmoved. And who benefited most from those tax cuts, Mr. President? The working class. Or the corporations. Trump snapped back instantly. 3 million jobs created in my first 3 years. Record low unemployment for African Americans. Median income at an all-time high. 7 million people off food stamps. Energy independence for the first time in decades. Renegotiated trade deals that saved American industries. Rebuilt the military. Appointed judges who actually respect the Constitution. Should I keep going, Alex? Because I can go all day. Jones didn't blink. Then let's talk about what you didn't do. Infrastructure week that never happened. Healthcare reform that vanished. Mexico paying for the wall. Never happened. Lock her up? Never happened. You remember those promises too, don't you? Trump jabbed a finger across the table. Infrastructure was blocked by Congress. Healthcare was sabotaged by people in my own party. Mexico did pay, through the trade deal, through tariffs, through economic leverage. And as for political opponents, I could have gone after them, but I didn't. I took the high road. I let the justice system work instead of weaponizing it like they did to me. Jones gave a disbelieving laugh. The high road? You spent 4 years calling for investigations, urging your attorney general to arrest people. You wanted prosecutions. You just couldn't get them. That's not restraint, Mr. President. That's failure. Trump began pacing again, hands gesturing sharply. You're damn right I wanted investigations because crimes were committed. Spying on my campaign, lying to federal courts, leaking classified info, destroying evidence. All of it documented, all of it proven, and nobody paid the price. So yeah, I wanted justice. I wanted accountability. But the system protected them. Or maybe, Jones cut in, his voice low and deliberate. Maybe there just wasn't enough evidence. Maybe your claims didn't hold up. Maybe you were wrong. The word hung in the air like a grenade. Trump froze mid-step. He turned slowly to face Jones, his expression hardening, eyes narrowing with disbelief and fury. Wrong, he repeated, the single word sharp as glass. You think I was wrong about the corruption? Trump snapped, his voice cutting through the air. Wrong about the deep state? About the rigged system? Alex, you've spent your entire career exposing conspiracies, talking about hidden elites and shadowy forces controlling everything. And now, when I tell you I saw it up close, that I lived it from the inside, you're the one questioning me? Jones didn't flinch. I question everything, Mr. President. That's what I do. It's what I've always done. And just because you say something happened doesn't make it true. Just because you believe it doesn't make it fact. Evidence matters. Proof matters. And in a lot of cases, the proof you promised never showed up. Trump's laugh was bitter, sharp. The proof didn't show up because it was buried, hidden, redacted, classified by the same people I was trying to expose. But you know what, Alex? This right here, this conversation, it proves my point. They got to you. Maybe it's pressure, maybe threats, maybe money, but something changed you. Jones's expression hardened, his tone turning icy. Nobody got to me. Nobody compromised me. Nobody threatened me. This, right here, is me doing what I've always done. Asking hard questions, demanding answers, cutting through the spin. If you can't handle that, if you think anyone who challenges you must be compromised, then maybe you're the one with the problem. Trump stormed closer, closing the distance until he was leaning over the desk, his face inches from Jones's. I've done more for this movement, for this cause, than you could ever imagine. I gave up my business, my reputation, my peace, my family's peace, all of it, to fight for the people. And you have the nerve to sit there and tear me down, to question my motives, to call me a failure? Jones didn't move, didn't even blink. You did sacrifice a lot, I'll give you that. But sacrifice doesn't automatically mean success. Effort doesn't equal results. The American people deserve the truth, not a highlight reel of your favorite talking points. Truth? Trump's voice rose, booming across the studio. You want truth? Fine. Here's the truth. I walked into a system built to destroy me. Every institution, every agency, every power center in Washington was aligned against me. They spied on me, investigated me, impeached me twice. And despite all of that, I still delivered for the American people. That's the truth. Jones fired back calmly, but with force. But you also had power. You weren't helpless. You controlled the executive branch. You had allies in Congress. You had millions of supporters. You weren't a victim. You were the president. And with power comes responsibility, to deliver on promises, to make good choices, to admit when you're wrong. Trump threw his hands up, exasperated. I never claimed to be perfect. Of course I made mistakes, but the good outweighs the bad by miles. Yet you sit here nitpicking every failure, repeating talking points that sound exactly like the mainstream media. Maybe, Jones said quietly. Some of those talking points are valid. Maybe not everything your critics say is a lie. Maybe some of the blame is yours. Ever consider that? The words hit like a punch. Trump's face shifted. Anger, disbelief, hurt, all fighting for control. When he finally spoke, his voice shook with barely restrained fury. I can't believe I'm hearing this. You, of all people? You're defending the same people who've spent years trying to destroy both of us. Don't you get it? If they take me down, they'll come for you next. Jones shook his head slowly. This isn't about defending anyone. It's about truth, and truth isn't black and white. You did some good things. You did some bad things. Pretending it's all one or the other helps no one. Not your supporters, not your movement, not even you. Trump grabbed his jacket, his movements sharp and furious. You know what, Alex? I'm done. Done with this ambush. Done with your fake moral superiority. Done pretending this was ever a fair conversation. You brought me here for drama, to boost your ratings. Well, congratulations. You got it. Running away doesn't change the facts, Jones called out as Trump turned toward the exit. Walking out doesn't answer the questions. Your supporters are watching, and they're seeing you fold when things get tough. Trump stopped, turned back, fire blazing in his eyes. My supporters know me. They know what I've done. They know I fight harder than anyone, and they'll see this for what it is, a setup, a betrayal, and they won't forget it. Or maybe, Jones countered, voice calm but cutting. They'll wonder why you couldn't answer simple questions, why you got so defensive, why you attacked me instead of the issues. You call yourself a fighter, Mr. President, but right now, you're walking away from the fight. Trump paused, glaring, then took a slow, deliberate step back toward the set. You really want to do this, Alex? Fine, let's talk about you. How many predictions have you made that never came true? How many conspiracies have you pushed that turned out to be garbage? How many times have you been wrong? Jones spread his hands. Plenty. I've been wrong about a lot. I've said things I regret. I've fallen for bad information. But the difference is, I admit it. I own my mistakes. Can you say the same? I own everything I do, Trump shot back. Every decision, every policy, every word. But I don't apologize for fighting. I don't apologize for being strong. I don't apologize for doing what it took to protect my supporters and this country. Even when your decisions hurt those supporters? Jones pressed. Even when the people who trusted you lost everything because of choices you made? Do you own that too? Trump's jaw tightened, his glare fierce. Name one. Jones didn't hesitate. COVID, the lockdowns you allowed, the spending you approved, the way you listened to so-called experts who wrecked small businesses and lives. Millions of your own supporters paid the price for those decisions, and you let it happen. Jones turned toward the camera, his tone shifting from fiery to deliberate, controlled. And that's why we do this. This isn't about loyalty. It's about accountability. So tell me, America, did I go too far tonight or not far enough? Because this is what real conversation looks like. Real questions, real consequences. Let me know what you think in the comments below.